Tay, you linked an article here in the doc. Anonymous SEC coaches predict what LSU football missing the college football playoff would do to head coach Brian Kelly.
It's not good, if you could believe that. It's probably the shocker of the day. They had about 2 or 3 anonymous coaches, and, one of them mentioned, hey, look, it's the expectations here in Baton Rouge every year, but the depth chart he put together, it's the best he's had since he's been in Baton Rouge, and Kelly's been open about that. Kelly said this is the best roster he's had. They're basically talking about the pressure that he's had and what it's going to look like. Like one of the quotes right here says, the big talk is the way that they've restructured. This is an autonomous coaching culture anymore. Austin Thomas has a huge role building the roster, and it showed this offseason. The internal evaluation of LSU football will look more professional. They're going to build BK the best possible roster to go out and win games. So we're just talking about, how impressed they were with what they did in the offseason, but can they turn it into a playoff run?
All right, so the best thing about this is, I mean, I think we all know that.
Yeah.
I think we know the expectation. I think Brian Kelly knows the expectation. I think Blake Baker, I think Joe Sloan, every coach over there knows that the expectation for LSU football is to make the college football playoff. And if they don't, that would be a disappointing season. The best part about it is when I caught up with BK and Destin, he doesn't run away from that. Right. He knows that. He's known that since he's been here. Right? This isn't a coach that's like, how could you say that? Oh, my gosh. No, he knows that. Every coach, and I just mentioned the coordinators, we've had them on the show. They know that. These players, we had Whit Weeks, they know that, right? They understand that's what it is. That's what the expectation of a place like LSU always is. Even when it's a 14 playoff, people were mad. You got to make it. You got to make it. And that's okay, right? That's what happens when you are a blue blood type program. Remember, the last 25 years of college football, Alabama's got, 6 or 7 national championships, and then it's Ohio State and LSU tied at 3. So they have been a standard of college football in the last 25 years, all right? So, go make the playoff. Right. And everybody is running towards that and not away from that. And I think that's the best part about this. And I also agree with these anonymous coaches. I think Austin Thomas and the staff have done a hell of a job putting the best roster together. Now, you've had top-tier talent. We see him on Sundays with Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. We see that. But in the totality of the roster, this is the best because the depth is better. Man, you were thin. I'm talking about paper thin at some key positions over the last couple of years. So this roster now, it's got some juice to it. It's got some beef to it behind the starters, behind one, behind two. You've got some guys that have experience that you can count on. Those freshmen that played on defense last year, right? You can now count on all of those guys. That they had to play last year because of injuries and other things. But just when you look at everybody available, when you look from top to bottom, certainly you look at the receiver room, my God, there's going to be good players that don't play. Talent. Right? So, yes, I agree. This is the most talented, deepest roster that this coaching staff has had. And this staff, the fan base, the players, everybody, they get it. It is make the college football playoff or it is a disappointing season.
You said it, too. I mean, Brian Kelly, Joe Sloan, Blake, none of those guys are dumb, right? They understand the expectation, but that's why you come to a place and coach at a place like LSU because there is that. And it's not like that expectation hasn't been there the last couple of years. It's always been there. It's just one more year. I think the noise gets a little bit louder from the expectation standpoint. And everybody keeps saying that this year leading into the season because now there's excuses are kind of gone on this season because of the complete roster. The biggest questions is in the trenches this year.
Yeah.
But from a defensive standpoint, since Brian Kelly's been here, on paper, it's the best roster top to bottom that he's had. So the excuses are kind of gone. But like you said, they're running towards this expectation. They're not shying away from it. Yeah. And that's what you would expect because you don't go to LSU if you don't want that expectation put on you. So as a former player, as a fan, I'm excited about the season because you're bringing back so much. There's no one else in the country, in my opinion, that's bringing back the skill level, especially from an offensive standpoint, that LSU has. So, the excuses have kind of run out. So now you just got to go out there and do it. You've shown so much good in the last couple of years. Put it all together, and you got to do it seasoning. But SEC schedule, it's a ball buster, man. So you have to play good. You have to be on it every single week. You can't have a down week. And then of course it's football, collision sport. You have to hope you got a little bit of luck with the on the injury stand front too.
Yep, you've been a lot of good. You need to be a lot of great this year. We'll see if the Tigers can get that done.